Nowadays, comprising of 3 movie trilogies, a few other films, various TV shows both in live action and animation, it's only natural that some Star Wars moments may fly under the radar a little. Often it's the quieter moments that get forgotten, but there are also complex scenes that work on multiple levels, great action set pieces, and instances where the dialogue seems slight on the surface, but in reality has so much more going for it than it first seemed. So with all that in mind, I am Gareth, this is What Culture Star Wars, and here are the 10 most underrated scenes in Star Wars. Number 10, Rey's first taste of rain. A moment so very easy to miss. The Last Jedi features a fleeting glance of Rey experiencing rain for the very first time. You get it every day here in Manchester. Having grown up on the desert planet of Jakku, all Rey is really used to is sand, and a smidge more sand. So when Rey's search for Luke Skywalker takes her to Ahch-To, this planet is an entirely different beast to her. Notably, after Luke finally starts training the young Jedi, there's a short sequence where Rey and Kylo Ren communicate via the Force. A sequence that sees Daisy Ridley's character claim she knows all about what happened between Kylo and Luke, and one that also has Ren agreeing that he himself is a monster. However, what many might not have picked up on takes place in the short time between Rey exiting the Millennium Falcon and starting up her chat with Kylo. In an uber brief moment, Rey holds her hand out and smiles as Rain rolls down from the top of the Falcon, with a childish, curious look of amazement on her face. You realize this right here is the first time Rey has ever seen the wet stuff. Keep it clean, folks. Number 9, take care of yourself, okay? This is a small moment in The Empire Strikes Back that doesn't involve action or spectacle of any kind, but it may be the single most bittersweet scene in the entire series. Be prepared, folks. Before the Empire lands on Hoth and begins its AT-AT assault, Luke visits Han to say goodbye just as he and Chewbacca prepare to fly the Millennium Falcon out of there, and out of the lives of the rebels for the foreseeable future. Of course, this does not go to plan, with Han, Chewbacca, Leia, and C-3PO instead taking an adventure together across the galaxy and on to Cloud City. But for Han and Luke, this really is goodbye. Not only is this the last time the two friends will see each other for a number of years, but though neither of them know it, it's the last time Han will see Luke before his transformation into a Jedi, with that training ultimately making him more monkish, serious-minded, and a bit aloof. Han is saying goodbye forever to the friend that he knew here, and he doesn't even know it. A poignant farewell, I'm sure you'll agree. Number 8, Ezra and Sabine's silent conversation. While Ahsoka's debut season impressed many, the series was even more of an emotional rollercoaster for those familiar with the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, with the search for and eventual finding of Ezra Bridger particularly pulling on the heartstrings of Rebels fans. Of course, Rebels finale saw Ezra thrown deep into hyperspace along with Thrawn, as that episode ends with a 5 years later sequence where Sabine and Ahsoka are still desperately trying to find Bridger. Underrated on a first watch though is an early scene in this finale, as Ezra decides the only way to defeat Thrawn and co is for him to surrender himself to this sinister foe. With the rest of the Ghost crew completely against this plan, we get a fantastic exchange between Sabine and Ezra that doesn't even feature any words. While Sabine distracts her Ghost pals by huddling them around to discuss an alternative plan, Chopper has opened a ceiling hatch for Ezra to make his sneaky exit through. And as Sabine and Ezra exchange knowing glances, there's a heartbreaking realization they may never see each other again, but that what needs to be done needs to be done for the greater good. Sometimes you just don't need words. Number 7, Home on the Farm / Droid Market. Ah, the Jawa droid sale. It's a little moment, but one that cannot be underestimated. From this point forward, the life of Luke Skywalker will never be the same again. However, it's the depiction of plain domesticity in the scenes set at the moisture farm that are the most striking. It's the only time in Star Wars where you get to see a part of this vast universe untouched by war. Something away from all the grandness to come, tucked away in a forgotten corner of the galaxy. You can see the 70s New Hollywood influence on Lucas's film here, in how Luke's life before joining the Rebels is of small, quiet drama. At this point, the movie is just about people making ends meet, not special effects. The impromptu droid market is also a marvel of design. A litany of fascinating looking robots on sale by those murderous tradesmen, the Jawas, pouring out of an enormous rusting mining vessel. Just look at that thing. All of it, along with the naturalistic performances, creates something hardly better captured elsewhere. Science fiction approached as social realism. You'll love to see it. Number 6, the intro to Darth Maul. While The Phantom Menace has a few missteps, no wrong wrongs were more egregious than the death of Darth Maul. Gone too early from a prequel trilogy that never managed to come up with a better villain as a replacement. Thank the Sith Lords he returned in the Clone Wars. A snarling, tattooed, horned devil of a Sith warrior, cloaked in samurai-like duds and wielding a double-edged blade, Darth Maul was quite possibly the single greatest creation of the prequel trilogy. Fight me. So it makes every big screen Maul moment worth cherishing. But while his outstanding final duel with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon gets much deserved attention, less spoken of is his proper introduction to the main characters in the deserts of Tatooine. First, you see Maul arrogantly swagger to his bloodfin speeder. What a name. Then pursue and leap off said speeder, brandishing a lightsaber in pursuit of Qui-Gon and the team. The scene, though brief, works so damn well, because the spooky character design and fearsome physical performance by Ray Park make it seem like there's a legitimate threat for the Jedi. And oh boy, was there. Thanks for checking out this list today, my friend, and if you're enjoying what you're watching, then hit that subscribe button down below for more What Culture Star Wars stuff in your day. Number 5, Bous Rescue. The opening of Return of the Jedi is undoubtedly one of the best parts of the film. Do not think about the plan too hard though. But with so many memorable moments and plot points from Empire being explored and tied up, Han's resurrection from Carbonite, Luke's completion of his Jedi training, Lando's redemption, Boba Fett's removal from the bounty hunting game, and Jabba's final comeuppance, it's actually easy to forget something. And one great moment, less mentioned, is the introduction of Boushh, a bounty hunter that later turns out to be Leia in disguise. The design of the character, for one, is excellent. That chain smoker, underwater-style voice and sinister thrown-together garb making up one formidable hitman. But the bravado of their entrance, threatening to blow everyone in Jabba's palace to smithereens, introduces some real menace to the film that will later be somewhat lacking, let's say. That it turns out Princess Leia has more balls than ever imagined in carrying out this part of the plan is a great reveal. But the general intrigue surrounding the mysterious Boushh is what makes Leia's big scene playing him so damn great and underrated. Number 4, Ahsoka's moment of tranquility. Shadow Warrior, the 5th episode of Ahsoka's first season, is one of the very best, if not the best, slices of Star Wars TV we've had so far, with this being the episode that finds the Togruta Jedi reconnecting with Anakin Skywalker, as we get plenty of stunning flashbacks taken from the Clone Wars and beyond. Somewhat lost in the shuffle though is a rare moment of tranquility in an episode dominated by heavy action and heavy emotion. Having made it out of the world between worlds and found peace with herself and her relationship with Anakin, Ahsoka has a hunch that might just lead to Ezra and Sabine. A hunch that essentially involves hitching a lift with a Purrgil. To set this up, there's a beautiful sequence in the clear blue skies as Ahsoka and Huyang find themselves amongst a fleet of Purrgils. Compared to the dark, bleak color palette of so much of the rest of the episode, this is an entirely different vibe as Tano stands on one of the wings of her T6 1974 and prepares to communicate with a particularly giant Purrgil and score herself a ride. What did you drive to work today? Not a damn Purrgil, that's for sure. Number 3, Han's torture. Order 66 is the most brutal moment in all of Star Wars, right? Yeah, quite possibly. Providing you discount the fact that there's an actual torture scene going on in The Empire Strikes Back, with everyone's favorite space pirate Han Solo on the receiving end of the Empire's harsh treatment. Suspended from a rack somewhere in the bowels of Cloud City, Han is lowered slowly onto a table of sharp, sparking instruments, then the film cuts away. What's worse about this largely underrated brutal moment isn't Han's blood-curdling screams, or the fact that you only have your imagination to decide what's really going on in that room, but that the torture doesn't appear to have any purpose beyond harming one of the film's best-loved heroes. Or maybe there is actually a purpose. The Empire may be seeking information from Han, but judging by the fact that nobody seems to be asking any questions, it's more likely that Han's pain is entirely just a way of luring Luke to meet Darth Vader out in Cloud City. What a bunch of cruel a-holes, man. Number 2, Chasing Zam Wessell. One of the great achievements of the prequels is the realization of the planet-sized metropolis of Coruscant, a glistening cityscape that's all towering utopia up top, and seedy Blade Runner-esque dystopia down below. The best look at the planet comes during one particular sequence in Attack of the Clones that is often strangely overlooked: Obi-Wan and Anakin's pursuit of Zam Wessell. Following Wessell's attempted assassination of Senator Amidala, there's a lengthy race across Coruscant, beginning in a more luxurious area of the planet, resort and ending in a low-rent sports bar/club thing. As Obi-Wan and Anakin attempt to apprehend the culprit, the sequence provides a fascinating tour of the planet, from its high-class upmarket living quarters, through its industrial heartland and down into the more squalid working district. And it also involves a few cool-looking speeders, some fun dialogue, and death sticks. What's not to love, eh? Number 1, Grogu's Gurgle. The show that led the charge for the slew of recent live-action Star Wars shows we're currently experiencing, The Mandalorian is also responsible for launching the pop culture phenomenon that is Baby Yoda, or as his friends call him, Grogu. For 3 seasons of The Mandalorian and a couple of appearances in the Book of Boba Fett, Grogu has been a creature of few words. To be exact, he's been a creature of 0 words. However, there was one particularly adorable Mandalorian moment where it looked like we might get Grogu's first words. During Season 3's 3rd episode, Chapter 19, The Convert, there's a scene where Din Djarin, Bo-Katan Kryze, and Grogu are aboard Bo-Katan's ship after departing Mandalore. As Djarin and Kryze share a "This is the way," in the background comes a gurgle from Grogu that, if you listen closely enough, sounds remarkably like the little fella trying to copy his partners in crime sentiments. It's so adorable. Of course, there's not long to take this moment in, for as soon as Din and Bo-Katan exchange a slightly confused glance, their ship is attacked by TIE fighters. But now we can all take a moment to just collectively agree that this little guy, is cute as all hell and he must be protected at all costs. We love you, Grogu.